everybody, Ramsey here for the Rajathon YouTube channel and wanted to do the Library Loves book tag. Micheal Knipp tagged me in this one and I'm really excited he did. I love my library. I try to go all the time, really. Really, since I started Booktube, I've ramped up my library usage. I used to only go every now and then, and they're just such a great resource. You can get audiobooks, you can get so many books from them. So when he tagged me in this one, I was really excited to do it. So I wrote down all the questions. I've got them here in front of me. And then wanted to amend the TBR. No way I'll get to Way of Kings. No way I'll get to Fires of Heaven. And I have Stormfront on audiobook. I kind of skimmed through it, so we're not going to say that I read it. So we're down to these, plus the ones I'm already reading. I don't know if you can see that. I have Sin Ascends and the Warrior of Altai. Almost done with Sin Ascends. Just started Warrior of Altai. Just started the first book. I'm not reading all of them, just the first one. And so we'll have The Blade itself and Leaping Wolf left for the rest of the month once we get those done. So, and then Poppy War. We're also going to do Poppy War. So amending the TBR because it was just way too big. I knew it was way too big and wanted to amend it. So just to introduce you to this, I wanted to do a really cool, I shot a little bit of video. The guys in there were just, guys and gals in there were really friendly and said, as long as you don't film people, we don't mind it. So I'm going to show you a couple clips. And then over here we have the children's sections. You have the computers to the right, and you have all the kids' books. You have like non-fiction kids' books, and then you have fiction kids' books. A really great area for kids. And then this section is kind of like the new area where all the new items are stored. Find a lot of really cool books here where you can kind of sit down and read them as well. Kind of nice little lounge area. So that was kind of a really cool look at my library, and I'm really excited to share that with you guys because I love that library. And so we're going to go ahead and jump into the tag now with the questions. So for this one, the first question is, when did you first go to the library, and when did you get your first library card? I don't remember the first time I ever went to the library. We went a lot of times as kids. My first memories come in around first grade, and we'd already been going to the library with my mom. At that time, she had left my biological father and hadn't met my stepdad yet. And so we spent a lot of time together, just the three of us, me, my mom, and my brother. And we would go to the library. We would go, she really had us into reading. And a lot of times what she would do is she would give us, down in Florida, I don't know if y'all did it everywhere else, but we had these circular cards from Pizza Hut. And if you read enough books, you would, it had all these different things. So you could go to like Monkey Jungle, Parrot Gardens. You could get free items through things. And it was like a little perforated card that you would get if you read like 10 books in a month. So every month we were getting these things from Pizza Hut, and then you'd fill out a form or something like that. And we were going to Monkey, like she would bring fruit in her purse and we'd like hand the monkeys fruit. It's one of the coolest things. I have such great memories of that. And it was all because we read all the time and we would go to the library to get books to read. So how often do you use the library? If this had been asked to me before I started Booktube, I would probably say once every month, every 2 months. But now I'm actually currently going every week because we started a Bible study on Thursdays with a group of men. There's 4 of us. And they have these really special rooms where you can go in, soundproof. You know, we read a couple of chapters, then we go in and we discuss it amongst one another. So I go there on Thursdays. They stay open late on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And that's really cool because they give you the opportunity to, you know, for me personally, I can go after work. Most of the time they're closed on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And then, so Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, I usually try to go to the library. Don't always make it all those days. Sometimes just on Thursdays for the Bible study. But the kids love to go as well. They have computers there that the kids can play. And then my kids both enjoy reading. So we usually go at least once a week as a family, and then once a week for the Bible study. Number 3 is, what is your favorite thing about your library? My library, they do so many cool things. You got the book chat, bunch of different books that we get together and do. I don't know how many I'm going to do. I want to do the Tattooist of Auschwitz. That comes up in July. They'll get together and do a bunch of them. Not all of them I am real interested in, but that's going to be really cool. And then a Christmas party at the end of the year. And then they also have this here. which is the There and Back Again hiking club for the Bartow County Library. And then they also do all kinds of advertisements. They'll teach you computers to do things like that. And also they do that's what I did with Sinland of Sins. This is actually from a completely different library. And they gave me this thing right here. And I just have to bring it back. And it's from the DeKalb County Library, which is a good deal away, maybe 35, 40 miles away. But I just filled out some paperwork and they sent it to me, and it was really, really neat. I'm super excited that they do stuff like this, that I can read books that our library doesn't have, and you just have them ship it to you. So, but you got to be really careful because it's a $1 a day late fee if you don't get it back on time. Next question is, have you ever had a late or lost library book? Yes. We've got Charlie and the Chocolate Factory for my son because he loved the original movie with Gene Wilder. And we read that book and lost it, and then found it again, turned it back in, ended up costing us like $20. And then also my wife currently cannot use her library card because she has lost To Kill a Mockingbird and has no idea where it is. And so we just use my library card at the moment. Next question is, are you a browser or do you plan what you're going to pick out at the library? For me, a lot of times I don't plan, but I'll a lot of times pull up my Goodreads and see on my TBR if there's anything that I might just check out. So I'll walk through the adult fiction section and I'll look through my Goodreads and be like, oh, do they have this? Oh, do they have this? Oh, do they have this? And I try to start with stuff in the back. That way, the older stuff on my TBR is finally getting pulled through. And then I'll try to, this is the first time, like starting in January is the first time I've really done a TBR. Usually what I would do is I just look for books that were on my Goodreads and I would just set that up that way. But a lot of times it's just browsing. I'd pick it up. Like I'll talk about the Explorers Guild, and with that one, I saw Kevin Costner's name, and I was like, ooh, I'm going to check that out. And then I saw it was writing and illustrations. So I was like, yep, checking this out. And I had no plan on picking that up at all. And that really ties into the next question. Name a book that you took a chance on from your local library. For me, I had never seen or heard of that book, and it just stood out to me. There's a couple other ones. I think Underland by Matt or Jeff McFarland I saw at the library and I really want to pick up, but I think it's a sequel, so I was worried about it. There's a couple other ones in the adult fiction section. They kind of really good looking covers. They'll set up at like their own little stand. They have like a little cutout where they can put it up on like a stand where you see the face of it. And sometimes those really draw your eye and really catch your attention. And sometimes I've picked a couple of those up. But the one that comes to mind the most is the Explorers Guild. The number 7 question is, name the best book you've read from the library. So if we encompass just things I got from the library, I did the digital audiobook of 11/22/63, and it's probably the best thing I've picked up from the local library, but I did listen to it on the digital audiobook through Libby service. It was great. It totally subverted my expectations on Stephen King. I did not think I would like him, and it changed my mind, and I've picked up so much more Stephen King since then. But that was my first chance into him. Saw it on there, and I was just like, let me check this out. And it was great. I totally loved it. And yeah, that's probably that one. Number 8 question is, have you ever taken the same book out from the library multiple times? I do that all the time because the time constraint on the library sometimes is really tough. You're like, oh, I have this amount of time. I've got to read this book. Something else will pop up. One of the ones that got me recently was Making Sense of God by Timothy Keller. I just kept getting other books put on my TBR, and I kept, jumping off and doing all kinds of things. I didn't even end up finishing that one, but I checked it out probably 4 times and made it about halfway through the book. And I hope to pick it up again. I might just dedicate some time to it just to be able to really read it because it was super interesting, but I was trying to write notes as I was reading it, and that's a whole nother level. Like, you have to set up your desk, kind of get the book out, get your notes out, and really do that. And a lot of times I just read comfortably in like the recliner or something like that, or in bed, and it doesn't lend itself well to that. So hopefully I can set aside some time and really do that well, mostly because I don't want to do that again. Next question is, have you read a good book set in a library? And I've read a bunch of books that have great library scenes, and the one that comes to mind the most is The Name of the Wind and the follow-up book, A Wise Man's Fear. They have a great library there at the university, and there's a whole bunch of drama around that library, and there's like some lore around that library and some things in the very bottom of that library that are spoilers if I told you more about it. But that book, it really focuses on the library, and I think it's the one that stands out the most to me. So I'm going to go with that one. Name of the Wind, Wise Man's Fear, collectively, because I'm not sure which one focuses on the library more. I have to reread those. Question 10. This is one I've definitely done. Have you ever used your ebook and audiobook function at the library? For mine, we use Overdrive and Libby. Libby's easier to use for me personally, so I use it more often, but I use the heck out of it. I've actually thought about trying to get library cards at different libraries to expand my ability to get more electronic books. If you go to the city of Atlanta, which I'm assuming has great books, and get in the Atlanta public library system, they want to charge you $40 a year, and I didn't want to do that. But if I could find a way to do that, maybe pick up like somebody's utility bill in Fulton County, I would do that just to get a hold of their library system and all the treasure trove that would be of library books. Next question is, what is the best library that you've been to? Locally, Rome Library is really, really nice. They have a huge library. It's set up really, really well. I love the Cartersville Library. It's great too. But the best one I've ever been to is the public library at New York City. It looks like a giant kind of, I don't know, like a bank or something. I mean, it's a beautiful library. I kind of drug my wife in there. I did a few things when we visited New York City. She loves to go for plays, and I like plays, but I wanted to go to Central Park and walk through Central Park. She had no desire to do that, enjoyed it immensely, and then wanted to go to the library and just walk around in the library. And I'm hoping to go back again and really maybe take some good pictures for you guys now that I started a Booktube channel, because it's a beautiful library and it was fun to be in there. And then there's been some great comic book stores. There's one in New York right off Broadway that was really great. Dr. No's in Marietta is also a great comic book store. I know that doesn't fit, but those are also really cool things that I did while I was in New York. There's the Cambridge bookstore in the UK was really cool too, because it's at the university and had all their textbooks. I don't know if you guys watched the, I'll put the video up of the book haul I did where I got the creative writing book for one day if maybe I ever try to write a novel or a short story. And number 12 is, what would make you use your local library more? For me, Booktube did it. Booktube got me in the library so much more because I needed to create content. And I have read so much more since I started a Booktube channel. Not just because I feel like I have to put content out, but because I enjoy it so much. There's so many books that I've come around to, like people have given recommendations, people have shown me things. I've had comments come through where people have said, hey, check this book out, it's great. And so I'm at the library all the time checking out and seeing what my library has. I just requested 1632 by Eric Flint from the library. They're going to send me that one. So a bunch of really cool books are on my radar that weren't on my radar. And it's expanded my ability to look through books and my love of books, and it's just so cool. So at this point, I don't think anything can get me going there more, because I go a lot and I really, really enjoy it. It's a great place to be. If you haven't been to your local library, please do. They're a lot more than just a place where you can pick up books. It's a great place to be. And if you have kids, it keeps your kids out of trouble. They can be on the computers. They even got these really cool audiobooks in my library, and they probably have them at yours too, where it's an audiobook and a book for like little kids. Like my daughter, she loves to read them because we'll put the CD in the CD player, and then she'll read the books, and it actually has like a ding function to tell her to turn the page. So as she's reading, it goes ding, and she turns the page and she reads along with it. Really, really cool. Go check out your library. So next, I want to tag some people. I wanted to tag Angela from the Literature Science Alliance. I wanted to tag Brittany from Plants and Paperbacks. I wanted to tag David Waldrop. He's over in, I believe he's in Scotland. I really enjoy his content. He used to wear a luchador mask, and he took it off recently. We've seen his face, and I found out he's actually a writer. I'm really excited to maybe pick up some of his stuff and support him that way. Just found out that the Bookish Islander lives on the Canary Islands. I'd love to see what his libraries look like once the quarantine is over. I know I just saw his video about that. Also, if you want, subscribe to the channel. We'll have some more of this content that hopefully you guys enjoy. I just had a video go over 500 views, my Lightbringer magic system. I'll link it up above if you want to watch it. It's very descriptive if you've read Lightbringer Book 1. there are some spoilers for that book. So I would say after Lightbringer Book 1, if you got any questions about the magic system, read that one. Also, Bookie Club, we're going to start the Blade itself very, very soon. I haven't heard, Angela has started it already, and I know I'm going to try to catch up with her. But I wanted to finish Sinless Ends because I got to take it back very, very soon. So as soon as I finish that, I'm going to jump into the Blade itself. That's on Bookie Club. You can talk on the computer. You know, there's a live chat feature, a bunch of other stuff we can do. And really just talk about the book as we're going through it together. We can kind of try to stay in the same mindset. And that's all I've got, guys. Thank you so much for joining me on this tag, and we'll see you next time. Bye.